topic of my first book, Scattered Minds, after I was diagnosed with it. And being late is one of the aspects of it. And what it is a lack of time maturity. Like in Scattered Minds, my book on ADHD, I describe how it's 5 minutes to 8 o'clock, and I have to be somewhere at 8.
Yes.
But at 5, I still think I have an eternity in front of me.
This has been my problem since I was a child, yes.
Because your time sense didn't develop early.
Correct.
So that's why you're always late. And I can also tell you why your time sense didn't develop early.
Why is that?
You see, kids don't have a time sense. To a baby, a present moment is eternity.
Yes.
You can't say to a 1-year-old, you'll have dinner in 5 minutes.
Right.
All they're hearing is, there's no dinner. 5 minutes is eternity. Time sense has to develop. The brain has to develop. And for brain development, you need certain conditions. Here's what I can tell you without knowing anything about your specific history. There's two things that are true about you.
Okay.
One is you're highly sensitive.
Yes.
The other is when you were small, an infant, even during the pregnancy, your parents were stressed.
How did you know this?
Because that's why you have ADHD. Because you're tuning out, and your lack of development of time sense has to do with the stress in your environment. And more genetically sensitive infants are, the more they pick up on their parents' stresses. And that actually interferes with the brain development of certain circuits. It's really that simple. It's not a disease that you inherit. It's actually a response of sensitive infants to a stressed environment.
When I have something important to do, I will immediately find something not important to do.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, oh my God, I have to organize this drawer right now.
Yeah.
Or I'll be like, I saw an Instagram ad about jogging pants. I really need jogging pants. I should probably buy them now.
Yeah.
Or I'll get mad at myself and go, you know what? Grow a fucking pair and do the hard thing right now. But before you do that hard thing, you should probably go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Why am I procrastinating?
Well, again, procrastination is another trait associated with this syndrome called ADHD. And typically, we put off things until the very last minute.
Yes.
And then we do this rush to get it done. Like I never... In university, when I did my undergraduate training, before I went to medical school, I never began an essay until the night before it was due. And I'd be up all night writing it. Again, it has to do with time sense, and it has to do with lack of motivation. Now, things that you're highly motivated to do, I doubt that you procrastinate very much.
No, I'll do it immediately.
So ADHD is really a question of motivation. And there are certain circuits in the brain to do with motivation. And that has to develop again, like all circuits. Nobody is born with a developed brain. The motivation circuits have to develop. They run on a chemical called dopamine. Mm-hmm. Dopamine is essential for a sense of vitality, for curiosity, for seeking.
Yes.
And when you put under high pressure, there's high dopamine levels.
Yeah.
And then you get really motivated.
Right.
So you're waiting for that dopamine hit before you get down to doing what you need to do. It's a matter of how environment shapes brain physiology.
Now, just to have some polite pushback, do I really have ADD or do I have a childlike sense of wonder?
Why is there a contradiction? People with ADHD tend to be more playful, more curious.
Yes.
In some ways more emotionally alive, and they tend to become comedians. I mean, I've seen about probably 90% of comedians could be diagnosed with ADHD because you got this brain that jumps all over the place,
right?
Which is the essence of comedy.
Yes.
You know, so that just about every comedian I've ever met, I could diagnose within a split second with ADHD.
I think we have ADD, and many of us, unfortunately, have clinical depression as well. That's what gives us a very dark sense of humor. But I want to go down this a little bit with you, which is I will also be late to things that I care about. And there's a form of, even as an adult, I'm 39 years old, I am aware that, oh my God, I'm about to be late. I've been late for dates with my wife. I've been late for pickup of parents or children. There is this, what is underneath this lack of understanding of time or procrastination? I have a theory and I'd love for you to unpack it. I think at the core of it, there's something that I want to do. And as an adult now, I know the path to it will either be painful or humiliating.
Well, let me put it in more simple terms, if I may.
Sure.
There's two things going on for you. Now, You can agree with this or not. I'm giving you my view, laying down the law here.
Sure.
There's two things going on. You really don't have a good time sense.
I have a horrible time sense.
If there's 10 minutes left, it's not here yet, so it's not happening yet. So that's what I mentioned before.
Absolutely.
The other is you're emotionally immature, in the sense that emotionally you can be intellectually very advanced. It's the law of uneven development. Some aspects of our personalities and our brains can develop highly,
right,
but others be underdeveloped, and there's a lack of responsibility there. Like if you really perceive yourself as responsible, and other people's experience mattered to you as much as your own, you'd be there on time. And I promise you, if I called you up and said, Hassan, I have $1 billion for you. If you get here at 5 minutes to 8 o'clock, you'd be there at 6 minutes to 8 o'clock.
I'll be there at 7:30. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
$1 billion?
So, because you'd really care. And by the way, I'm the same. All my life, I've always been late. To some extent, so I'm not criticizing you or anybody else.
Sure.
But
you did call me emotionally undeveloped.
But I'm calling myself emotionally undeveloped in that same sense.
Okay, great.
So
appreciate that, brother.
I'm not here to point fingers at anybody. I'm talking about the dynamic of what's underneath it.
Sure.
There's a certain degree of lack of maturation, which has got its charming aspects. You get to be playful and kind of childlike in a lot of ways. But it also leaves you with lack of responsibility.
Yeah.
And again, I'm telling you, you're perfectly capable of being on time if you're motivated enough. If I promised you $1 billion, you'd be there. When you're still pursuing the relationship with your wife and you're deeply in love with her and you're in that romantic phase, were you ever late?
I was still late, yeah. I've always been late. This is why, she's a ride or die. And really,
Yeah.
You know how the state says she should get half? I'm like, she should get more than half.
It's a lack of discipline.
Yeah.
And I don't mean
and then I hate myself. I actually start to hate myself.
Well,
and it creates a very bad...
See, that I would talk to you about. Because if I told you that, look, I have this issue with being late, would you call me despicable?
No, but I would say it's okay to hate yourself.
Why is it okay to hate yourself?
I don't know. I think it's an Indian thing. I think there's an Indian thing to it, which is you should be mad at yourself. And,
should you hate anybody?
Depends on what they did.
Should you hate me if I'm late?
I shouldn't hate you. You're too sweet. Yeah.
Well, why should you hate yourself?
I think it comes from a place of you keep doing this to yourself, man. So you're not a serious person.
See, there's two ways you can approach that. One is you keep doing this. You're not a serious person.
And you're smart enough to know that you're not supposed to be doing
all these judgments.
Yeah.
So that's one way to approach it, is with self-judgment.
Yeah.
And by the way, that goes along with ADHD. As somebody once said, I'm sorry is the commonest phrase in the ADHD vocabulary.
Oh my God, I say sorry all the time.
Yeah.
I let it fly like
You might really want to read my book, Scattered Minds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've just gotten to Myth of Normal. I got to go back to the deep cut of Scattered Minds. So let's start with Scattered Minds.
Go to Scattered Minds. That was published 26 years ago. And 2 years ago, it became a New York Times bestseller. But what was I going to say? So you could do that self-critical, self-hating, self-judging thing, or you get curious. Not why am I doing this, but why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm well-intentioned. I'm intelligent.
Capable.
Capable. I care about people. I wonder why I keep doing this. And so that self-curiosity and self-exploration is the alternative.
Where did that self-curiosity take you on your mystery to finding out why you were late to things?
Well, look, I began my own journey of self-discovery because my life wasn't working. I was successful, physician, newspaper writer, father, respected, and I was depressed, and I was always late, and I was disorganized, and I had sensed that I had a deep potential that I haven't come near to expressing, but I had no idea why not. So I had to start asking, well, what's going on here? What's going on here? And that took me deeply into the literature of child development and psychological unfoldment.
Right. And you've talked about this in your work of this changing the framing from what's wrong with you to what happened to you.
Exactly.
That question in of itself is a bit offensive.
Why?
What the fuck happened to you?
Why is that?
You can see how that, just the framing of that. What happened? Dude, what happened to you? That is kind of offensive.
Yeah, but you see, the offensiveness is not in the words, it's in the tone. You can say, what happened to you? Or you could say, what did happen to you?
Yeah,
Is that the same?
No, those are two very different tones. Yeah.
So the one is a judgment and a rejection. The other is a real inquiry. I'm talking about genuine inquiry, and I'm advising anybody who hates themselves that what they need to do, if they really want to get to know, is not to accuse themselves, but to be curious. There's always a reason. There's always a reason. And that reason is always rooted in a person's life experience and their multi-generational background.
So if behavior is connected to our past, and I do see the intellectual argument in that, but aren't some people just assholes?
No. We have to distinguish between a lot of people do bad stuff.
Yes.
A lot of people are cruel or selfish,
Yeah, sure.
or aggressive,
Yeah.
narcissistic,
Yeah.
but that's not who they are. The Buddha said 2,500 years ago that with our minds we create the world, so that the minds with which we perceive the world, that's the world that we live in.
Yeah.
So, if somebody said the world is a horrible place,
Yeah.
where it's dog eat dog, everyone against everybody else, your friends want your house, they want your wealth, they want your wife, and these are your friends. Well, how would that person have to behave, do you think, if that's the world they lived in?
I mean, I think they would have to behave in a way that's very similar to the way Machiavelli is
So how would they
you'd have to behave selfishly, you'd have to be duplicitous, you'd have to do a lot of
You have to be aggressive.
yeah.
You'd have to be grandiose, make yourself big so that other people will be afraid of you.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to be suspicious. You'd be president of the United States, because it was Donald Trump that wrote those words in his autobiography, The Art of the Deal. I quoted verbatim.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Now, a few days ago in Washington, D.C., I happened to meet his niece, Mary Trump,
Okay.
who's a psychologist, and she's written a book on the Trump family, where she describes what happened in the Trump family. Donald Trump was not born aggressive, grandiose, selfish, self-aggrandizing, suspicious. He was born an infant, ready for love, needing acceptance, needing validation. But he was born into a family where, according to the psychologist's niece, Mary Trump, if you read her book, the father, Fred Trump Sr., was a sociopath who treated his kids horribly. Her own father, Donald Trump's brother, Fred Jr., became an alcoholic and dragged himself to death by the time he was in his early 40s. Donald adapted to those same circumstances by becoming grandiose, selfish, aggressive, developing these world views that the world is a horrible place. And that's the world that he lives in. He couldn't help it. It's really interesting. People accuse him of lying. Half the time, I don't think he's lying. His biographer, or his co-writer, Tony Schwartz, who wrote The Art of the Deal with him, he says that Trump actually has a mind that says if something should be true, it is true.
Oh, reality distortion field.
Yeah. Now, I read a biography of Hitler. Same thing. And Hitler had a horrible childhood. So when you say somebody is an asshole, no, I don't think anybody is that. People develop certain coping patterns. And I'm not saying this to excuse anything or to justify anything. I'm just asking, what is the source of the personality and what is the source of the people's behaviors? Those behaviors are just manifestations of life experience. And look, do you ever had a puppy dog? Have you ever had a dog?
Indians don't really do dogs, but yes, we had a bunny rabbit for a bit, and it shit everywhere, and we had to get it out. But yes,
right.
But my wife loved the rabbit, and my kids loved the rabbit, but it was shitting everywhere, and I couldn't take it anymore.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, no, anybody who's ever had a puppy dog will tell you how you treat that puppy will determine how that dog's going to be for the rest of his life. You beat them, you starve them, or you are capricious towards them, they're going to be suspicious, worried, maybe aggressive, maybe scared. If you grow a tree, don't you know that whether you give enough irrigation, sunlight, minerals in the soil, that'll determine how that tree will develop? It's the same thing with human beings. we're born with certain needs, essential needs,
Yeah.
and how those needs are frustrated or devastated
Yeah.
or met will largely determine how we develop.
You know, you're a very interesting person, Gabor. You naturally are incredibly gentle, kind, affable, but even the way you're describing the world is from a very beautiful, curious perspective. At the same time, one of the things I think about now that I'm a father of two, I have a 7-year-old and I have a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And I think about this lesson that my parents have told me in some words, and I kind of agree with, which is I'm not trying to prepare you for the way the world should be. I'm trying to prepare you for the way the world is.
Yeah.
And in here in New York City, sometimes you have to be just judgmental. For me, it's 3 buckets. If I'm on the train, you're one of 3 buckets. Number 1, you're a ride or die. Number 2, you're an acquaintance. Number 3, you're shady.
Well, being alert to the environment and being aware of the realities that you face doesn't have to change your personality and who you are.
Explain that to me.
Well, those are just normal responses to the situation. If I was, if I happen to be walking on ground, there's a lot of snakes, I might have to be very careful where I put my foot.
Yes.
That doesn't change who I am. That just means in a certain situation, I have to be alert and aware. That's what you're describing.
Yeah, being on the train and assessing people.
But it doesn't have to make you a bad person, you know. By the way, thanks very much for your kind words about me, about being gentle and so on. You should ask my wife. You know, there's always the how I present in public and what I'm able to say genuinely.
Oh, yeah.
Then there's the degree to which I'm able to manifest that in all
I think
aspects.
every afterword of every book should just be written by the family of the author.
You're totally right.
Let's talk about this big topic when it comes to therapy, which is the fine line between unpacking the trauma of your past versus taking responsibility for your bullshit.
There's no verses. It's the same. If I say stuff happened to me,
Yeah.
which it did, it happened to me.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm a victim and I can't help it.
Yeah.
Then I'm taking no responsibility.
But Gabor, in your book, The Myth of Normal, you wrote about being annoyed at your wife for not picking you up from the airport and how this pain was rooted in your abandonment as a child
Yes.
during World War II. And you wrote, "There comes a point when Hitler made me do it won't fly."
That's the whole point.
So what is the line between